What's up everyone, my name is Alpha and welcome to the new year 2023. Happy New Year's everyone. Today again we have a Pokemon video and today's challenge be can I beat Pokemon Scarlet Hardcore Nuzlocke using only Geeta'S team? I always say Geeta, but I think it's Geeta. So I'm gonna go with Geeta. Correct me if I'm wrong, I guess. Objectively, the worst champion we've ever had in a Pokemon game. And now we're going to try to use her team to actually beat the game, see if it's possible to even beat the team with her trash team. The rules are on screen right now. It's kind of like a Nuzlocke. We can only use the Pokemon we find in each route. Of course, each Pokemon only has one life, so if they do faint, they are removed from my entire team and they are just disposed of. There is a level cap, there is a death counter, can't use items inside a battle. There's no set mode, but we're going to try to play on set mode by not switching out Pokemon every time we defeat the enemy's Pokemon. That should wrap up the basic rules. I want to add one additional rule to it. Of course, it's my standard. Each of my Pokemon will be nicknamed after you guys in the comments. So thanks so much for leaving a nickname in my previous challenge video. If you guys want to be nicknamed after a future Pokemon, drop it in the comments and hopefully I'll pick yours. And while you're down here, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me that you guys support my channel. Last year, I actually had a goal to hit 40k and we did hit 40k. Very closely on the last 3 days of 2022. To start off the first video in the new year, I think our goal is gonna be 50k as our goal. But anyways, let's get into the challenge video itself. So to start off with, Geeta'S team, I hate it. I don't like a single Pokemon. I like Glamora and Veluza. I take it back. But outside of them, I really don't like any of her team. I don't even like the Pokemon I just mentioned that much. It's just because they're just not great Pokemon. And most of it aren't even podium Pokemon. Like, there's so many better she could have an Annihilate and then her team is just 10 times better. Anyways, we're gonna start out by choosing off our starter Pokemon. It doesn't seem like it implicates anything at all, but we want to choose a starter Pokemon that our rival Nemona is gonna choose, so it's easier for our battle. And I actually chose Sprigato, so Nemona chooses the water type Quaxly, so it's easier for us overall because there's gonna be a Go-Go on our team and it could take care of the Quaxly and its evolution pretty easy. From there, we're going to head into the grotto, you know, the place where you find Koraidon and Miraidon at the beginning of the game. Apparently on Cerebi, you can find a Pawniard in here. I've never been able to encounter it. I'm just going to believe Cerebi is lying to me because I can't find anything besides Young Goose. We have to move along. We're going to catch ourselves our very first Pokemon, which is going to be a Skittle. Ironically, her team has a Go-Goat, which is a Gen 6 Pokemon. Not too great, but from there, we actually catch a Gen 9 Pokemon, a Flittle. A Flittle is going to be this weird looking thing. I don't even know what it is, but it evolves into the Ostrich Pokemon later on in the game, and we're able to catch it. Add 2 things on our team before heading into the very first gym of the game. Now, the very first gym in the game is going to be a Bug-type gym leader, and unfortunately for us, it's very good against us. I actually have to restart over 8 different times for this challenge. Now, obviously, I did not restart the entire game. I have to admit that because the dialogue for the beginning part of the game takes over an hour. So I actually just restarted by recapturing the other 2 Pokemon over and over. Eventually, I got a good run where I finally understand how to actually come up with a strategy to beat the first gym leader in the game. So to begin off, all we have to do is Leech Seed down the Cricket Pokemon, the Nimble, and Protect. We have Protect as TM. We also have Psybeam on our Flittle later on if we needed it, if my Skittle does go down. But for right now, my Skittle should be fine as I'm able to knock down the Nimble. She can switch out into her Tarantula, which is going to be her spider-looking Pokemon. It's also a Bug type and also use Bug Bite. So it's important for us to Mud Slap into it until it's actually unable to attack us because of its lower accuracy. And then we're able to Leech Seed it down and not use Razor Leaf at all because we want to get our HP all the way up. So we also want to use Protect until we're all the way up at full HP. And that'll allow us to knock out the Tarantula. And then her final Pokemon will be a Teddy Ursa, which also Terra Evolves into a Bug-type Pokemon and has Fury Cutter. Lucky enough, if we're at full HP, we're able to get 2 Mud Slaps off against him. And most likely, he'll start missing attacks. And I'm able to Leech Seed into him and eventually take down his HP. And then eventually we're able to stall out the Teddy Ursa and eventually knock him out and get our first gym badge of the game. So yeah, very difficult. Luckily for us, we're able to beat down the first gym leader, but from the looks of it, Geeta'S team does not look like it's able to even beat the first gym. So anyways, from there, we're going to face up against the Grass Gym Leader next. The Grass Gym Leader is going to be a bit easier for us. We're going to start the battle off against his Petalil with my Flittle. Now, that's just a quick switch into my Skittle for the purpose of getting Sap Sipper. Sap Sipper is an ability that Skittle has to boost up its attack stat every time it's hit by a grass move. So we're actually able to boost up our attack stat just by grinding up this Petalil. Does it not have a different move? Like, I don't know why I just keep using sleep powder, but we're eventually able to get +6 on our Skittle. We're able to knock out the Pedalo, we're able to knock out the Smoliv, and we're also able to knock out the Sudowoodo. Now, this is already making up to be one of the hardest challenge I've done on Pokemon Scarlet and Violet so far, because I'll be honest, I think my other challenges are very easy comparatively to this one, because I already had to restart like 8 different times for this entire challenge to begin with. Finally, we can go out into this little like pathway where Pawniard spawns for some reason. I don't know. I don't understand that at all. I don't know how the spawning really works. There's some fixed spawns and then some random spawns. But lucky enough, it doesn't matter too much. We're able to get ourselves a Pawniard. And next up, we're going to face off against the Electric Gym in the game. Is it Eno? I think Eno. Something like that. Electric Gym of the game. She can start the battle off against us using the little bird thing. I'm able to start the battle off against her using my Flittle to use a Light Screen, which unfortunately is the wrong move because the little bird thing has Spark, so it has a physical attacker. But I go out to my Pawniard next. Pawniard is able to 3-shot into him and able to knock him out. And then from there, she can switch out into her Bellibolt, which I am able to switch out into my Skittle to go for Mud Slabs and also Leech Seeds against him. And we're able to stall him out pretty easily. Next up, she can switch out into her Luxio, which I am able to also go for a Leech Seed and a bunch of Mud Slabs, eventually getting to full HP from it. And then her final Pokemon will be a Miss Magius, which is very annoying, which is unfortunate. I'm able to get a Leech Seed off against her, and then she can go for a Confuse Ray. Luckily enough, I'm able to survive a Confuse Ray and also chip it down using Leech Seed, and then eventually get a Razor Leaf off against her. Unfortunately, I do hit myself in confusion within this turn, and then from there, I'm able to go for a Terra 2x stab boost Razor Leaf, which is huge, almost knocks her out completely, and I snapped out of confusion from this play as well. Also, with the Leech Seed damage, I'm able to just go for a Protect and also knock out the Miss Magius, and that will allow me to get the 3rd gym badge of the game. And everything's coming down to the wire. My Skittle almost dies from this gym battle alone. From there, we can actually go back and do a bunch of catch up on what we need to do. Firstly, we're going to get the water riding ability by beating down this Titan boss and getting the ability, and then going out into the coastal area over here and getting ourselves a Veluza, which is actually one pretty cool Pokemon. It doesn't evolve. It's actually just a single stage form, and it's kind of cool. I'll add it to my team. Also went out and got myself a Bergmite in the mountains, which kind of over levels, so we can't use it for this gym, but that's fine. And then I spent a good hour and 20 minutes trying to find a Glammet, which is super annoying. Glammet and Glamora is Geeta'S signature Pokemon, which unfortunately is very hard to find, especially in the beginning early levels of the game. But eventually we were able to go into the cave right here, this tunnel specifically, and find myself a Glammet and add it to my team. And then my team is fully finished and furnished, and we're able to face off against the next gym leader in the game. We're able to face off against the water gym leader. We're going to start the battle off against him using my Pawniard, just because he starts off the battle using a Veluza. We're able to 2-shot into his Veluza, knock him out pretty easily. He's obviously going to switch out into his Wuxtrio next, so I go out to my Go-Go. Now, unfortunately, Headbutt does a lot of damage, which is surprising and very annoying. I don't know why I got rid of Mudslap. Mudslap was actually a really good move. I go for a Bodos to lower his speed, but unfortunately, it doesn't lower his speed enough where my Skittle is able to outspeed him, as he's able to knock me out. I'm at pretty low HP, which is unfortunate, but lucky enough, I have a berry on and it recovers enough HP for me to be comfortable enough to beat down the Crabominable, even it goes for a Slam. I'm gonna go for a Razor Leaf, which is 2x Zap. It knocks him down to under half HP, and he misses his Slam, which allows me to go for a Razor Leaf and knock out his Crabominable, which is very nice for us as we get our next gym badge of the game. Super easy. From there, we can finally evolve our Pokemon. We're able to evolve our Skittle into a Go-Go, evolve our Glammet into a Glamora, and also my little Flittle into the ostrich-looking Pokemon. I gotta learn its name. I can't just keep calling the ostrich-looking Pokemon. From there, we're gonna face off against Larry next. Larry's gonna be the normal type gym leader in the game. Larry's gonna start the battle off against us using a Kamala, and Geeta'S team is basically stall, as I'm able to just set up Toxic Spikes, set up Stealth Rocks with Glamora, which this is how she should be using her Glamora. And then I'm gonna switch out to my Go-Go next. Go-Go's able to bulk up in front of the Komala pretty easily, even though it gets slept. It's fine. I'm able to wake up, get more bulk ups, knock him out pretty easily. He then goes out to his Dunsparce. I'm able to Leech Seed down his Dunsparce and get more bulk ups in front of him. Unfortunately, he is going to be kind of annoying as he glares me and also Hyper Drills me, which is doing a lot more damage than I expected. Eventually, I am able to knock out his Dunsparce, and his final Pokemon will be his Terra Normal Staraptor, which does a lot of damage to me, surprisingly. But I'm able to knock him out with just a Seed Bomb, as I'm able to knock out Larry and get my 5th gym badge in the game. From there, though, we're able to go out and grind a little bit. We make ourselves a bunch of ham sandwiches, and then we could just grind up some XP using the chancing method I showed in the last video. And then from there, we can face up against Rhyme next. Rhyme is going to be the Ghost Gym Leader in the game. Our setup for this is going to be starting with Veluza and also Glimora. Now, the setup, I'm going to use Fillet Array, which is going to be a move specifically for Veluza to allow me to boost up my speed, my physical and special attack stat, but unfortunately cutting my HP in half, which is really a knockoff Belly Drum. Very annoying. It doesn't work if you're under half HP. I'm also Terra Evolving, so I get rid of my Psychic typing, which is very nice for us as we're able to survive the first turn, which is the hardest turn. My berry doesn't activate, which is not good, but it's fine as I'm able to just get a bunch of boosts from the DJ, and I'm able to knock out the Bayonet and also do a lot of damage to the Mimikyu. The Bayonet finally activates my berry as I'm able to knock him out, and then the Mimikyu is unable to do anything to me. I'm also able to knock out the Houndstone and also the Mimikyu in the same turn. And then her final Pokemon will be her Toxicity, which will Terra Evolve into a Ghost type, but from all the boosts I got, and also speed boost, I'm able to one-shot the Toxicity and knock him out. It'll allow me to get my 6th Gym Badge in the game, which is pretty nice from Rhyme. And then from there, we're going to face off against the Psychic Gym Leader in the game. Very quickly, gyms back to back. I'm going to use my Avalok for the first time. My Avalok against her Fire Giraffe is able to just melt it down pretty easily, take all her hits, and then knock her out. Her next Pokemon will be a Gardevoir as I switch out into my ostrich looking Pokemon. What's it called? Hold on. I gotta learn the name. You're gonna learn the name with me live. It's just called Espera. Espera is gonna set up Light Screen, which smart play by me. I go for a bunch of Shadow Balls to knock out the Gardevoir. My ostrich looking Pokemon is able to knock out the Gardevoir, which is nice. And then her next Pokemon will be her own Espera. I go out into my Pawniard, which is able to Night Slash, almost one-shot him. I could have got the Eviolite. I know a lot of people will be commenting down, why don't you get the Eviolite, or did you get the Eviolite for the Pawniard? No, I just figure it's a waste of time because this entire challenge video took 16 hours because I had to restart so many times. So I was not going to go out and get myself an Eviolite, even though it would have been a better play. I was like, you know what, if Pawniard died too early, Pawniard died too early. From there, her final Pokemon will be a Florges that actually Terra Evolves into a Psychic type. I set on my Glimora, which is questionable, but the plan is to actually Terra Evolve as it goes for a Moonblast, and then I'm able to go for an Acid Spray. All moves, I went for Acid Spray. I thought I was going to do a little more damage. Completely forgot it was a Psychic type. So now my Glimora is down to low HP. Go out to my Veluza next. It takes a Petal Blizzard, which I was actually pretty excited by. Then it goes for a Moonblast, and I was like, oh, Petal Blizzard doesn't lock her in, so that's kind of sucks. I'm able to get a nice piece of damage off against her with a Night Slash. Unfortunately, it doesn't do enough where Aqua Jet will kill, so I go out to my Avalok, hoping I can survive an attack. It did not come close to surviving one, so I then go out into my Go-Go next, which surprisingly, it does survive one pretty well. Thinking back, maybe I should have just gone to Go-Go to start with and didn't need to sack my Avalok, but I go for a Horn Leech and knock out the Florges as we get our 7th Gym Badge of the game and our first death, which is going to be Avalok. Kind of unfortunate, not going to lie. But from there, we're going to face up against Grusha next. Grusha, he's going to be the 8th gym leader in the game, the ice type gym leader. We're going to start the battle off against him using my Glimora to actually Rock Polish to outspeed the rest of his Pokemon. Then from there, I'm going to go for Stealth Rocks since his entire team is actually weak to Stealth Rocks anyways. I actually messed up. I Rock Slide still because I was training up my Glimora. But that's fine as I'm able to Terra Evolve and get a ×2 stat boost with Ancient Power, as I'm also able to knock out the Frostmoth in one shot. I have a Shell Bow on. I thought it's going to recover more HP. Not gonna lie, it did not recover enough HP. From there, he's gonna switch out into his Beartic, which I'm able to Ancient Power and knock him out in one shot. His next Pokemon is gonna be a Sentient, as I'm able to Ancient Power, also knock him out in one shot. And his final Pokemon will be an Altaria, which also gets hit with Stealth Rocks pretty harshly. And then from there, I'm able to actually one-shot it still with Ancient Power. Even if it didn't one-shot it, I am pretty sure I'm able to survive any move from him. So I'm able to knock out the Altaria and get our 8th Gym Badge in the game. Very weak last gym leader, I'm not gonna lie. But from there, we're able to actually evolve my Bisharp into a King Gambit, which don't know if I really like this one. I kind of prefer Bisharp, but I knew I would not be using Geeta'S team technically if I didn't use King Gambit. I kind of wish I used Bisharp over him, but the loss in speed, very disappointing. But we have to suck it up. We actually purchased a Choice Scarf for him just so he gets to normal speed of himself. But from there, we're able to actually train up our Pokemon. Unfortunately, you can see in this clip, I'm training up my Pokemon. Unfortunately, Espera will keep Drill Peck as it's going to cost me later on because Psychic would have been useful in the Elite Four, but this was a bad play. From there, we're going to face off against the Elite Four itself. We can do the interview questions. I actually passed on my first try because I was kind of careful with reading for once. From there, we're going to face off against Rika next. Rika, she's going to be the ground type Elite 4 member of the game. We're going to start the battle off against her using my Go-Go. We're going to easily Leaf Blade into the Whiscash to knock him out in one shot. Her next Pokemon will be a Camera. I go to my Veluza. It's getting one shot at, obviously, and then her next Pokemon will be a Dugtrio. I go out to my Go-Go next. Go-Go gets a few bulk ups in front of him. I also have Milkstring, so I'm able to recover my HP pretty decently. As you can see, I get a bunch of bulk ups in front of him. Leaf Blade will knock out the Dugtrio, and then Leaf Blade will almost knock out the Donphan. As I'm able to Terra Evolve as well, knock out the Donphan, and also she's going to switch out into her Clocksire, which I'm able to go for a Leaf Blade and one-shot it pretty easily. From there, we're able to beat down Rika, and next up, we're going to face up against Poppy next. Poppy, she's going to be the Steel-type Elite 4 member of the game. We're going to start the battle off against her using my Espera. I didn't mean to do this. I went for a Drill Peck against the Copperajah. Luckily enough, I avoided the Heavy Slam, and I'm able to get a Feather Dance off against him. I go out into my Go-Go next to start setting up, obviously, a sweep. That's a lot of damage for a Feather Dance Copperajah, so I gotta go for more bulk ups. If it does crit me, I'm pretty sure it will kill me. So unfortunately, if it does crit me, that's very unfortunate, as I'm able to actually eventually get +6 on my attack and defense, and then knock out the Copperajah in one turn. Her next Pokemon is gonna be a Corviknight, which doesn't actually attack me ever. It goes for an Iron defense on the first turn, as I'm able to knock him out in the second turn with a critical hit. So yeah, things go out pretty well for us, as I'm able to go for a Leaf Blade against the Magnet Zone as she sets up a Light Screen, and I'm able to knock her out. So nice AI as usual. Her Bronzong comes out, I'm able to two-shot it, take a Zen Headbutt pretty easily, and then her final Pokemon would be a Tinkaton, which is getting Terra Evolve into a Steel type, and I do have Earthquake for it, so I'm able to knock out the Tinkaton pretty easily. So we're able to beat down Poppy, and we're able to clear through the second Elite 4 member of the game. From there, we're going to face up against Larry next. I don't know why Larry was brought back for Elite 4 position, but I guess it's somewhat funny. I like the character. I really don't like the teams, though. But anyways, I'm going to start the battle off against him using my Kingambit for once. I'm a Terra Evolve, which is interesting. I think I was just trying him out. But I'm able to Terra Evolve and then go for a Koto? I'm going to go for Koto. Koto sounds better. He goes for a Koto Cleave, eventually knock out the Tropius, which is nice. And then he's going to send out a Staraptor next. I'm obviously going to switch out to my Veluza. Veluza actually somehow does a lot of damage against him. Surprisingly, I am able to 1v1 the Staraptor and knock him out with my Veluza. His next Pokemon is going to be Altaria, which I go out to my Glimmora next. Glimmora unfortunately gets burned on this interaction, so it kind of weakens him, so I'm able to knock out the Altaria at least. But unfortunately, Larry's next Pokemon is going to be very annoying, as he's going to Teeter Dance me and confuse me, but I break through it, Ancient Power to knock out the Oricorio, and then his next Pokemon will be his final Flamigo Pokemon, which I can't stay in with my Glimmora, because obviously it has close combat. So I go out to my Espera, which unfortunately does not have Psychic. It goes for a close combat. It lowers a special defense. I go out into my Kingambit. Takes obviously a Brave Bird, which is nice. And then I go back into my Espera. It lowers the special defense again. But my strongest move is not in my arsenal. And I go for a Dazzling Gleam. It does a lot of damage. And I was really thinking back, maybe if I had Psychic, I would have been able to knock out the Flamigo. But I was just not smart enough to remember to put on Psychic, as I'm able to Aqua Jet and knock out the Flamigo, and we're able to beat down Larry and clear through the third Elite 4 member. Next up, we're going to face up against Hansel next. Hansel is going to be the Dragon-type Elite 4 member of the game. We're going to start the battle off against him using my Veluza. Veluza is able to take down the Norbern pretty easily. As easily as can knock me down to low HP, but I'm able to knock out the Norbern, which is nice. His next Pokemon will be a Dragolich, which I go out into my Glimmora against. Glimmora unfortunately gets paralyzed and also gets Hydro Pump in the face, and I'm unable to do anything. So I gotta switch out to my Kingambit against the Dragolich. I'm able to actually outspeed him and Iron Head into him to flinch him and knock him out. His next Pokemon will be a Flapple, as I'm able to take a Dragon Rush from him, knock him out, which is nice. And then his next Pokemon will be a Haxorus. I go for an Iron Head against him, but I don't want to knock him out, as I want to switch out into my Go-Go to set up bulk ups in front of him, which is kind of funny. Go-Go is my sweeper, which even though it's super slow and is kind of useless if you think about it, I'm able to get +6 against the Haxorus, and I'm able to knock him out in one shot. His next Pokemon will be his Baxcalibur, which is going to go for an Icicle Crash. Doesn't flinch me and also doesn't do enough damage to me, in which I'm able to Leaf Blade into him and knock him out in one shot. We're able to beat down Hansel, and we're able to clear through the Elite 4. Now we're going to face off against the champion of the game. We're going to face off against Geeta using Geeta'S team. Now we're going to start the battle off against Geeta using my Kingambit. Now King Gambit is interesting. I actually added a new move, Iron Defense, for the purpose of taking Avalok's body press, which I knew if I Terra Evolve into him, I'm pretty sure I'm able to knock him out too. Lucky enough, against her Espera, I'm able to get a Sword Sense off and also Night Slash crit into the Espera, which is huge. Her next Pokemon will be the Avalok, which I'm pretty stressed about. But you know what, I was kind of sending out King Gambit to sacrifice itself anyways to get a bunch of kills. I'm going to knock out the Avalok in one shot, which is huge with a crit. So yeah, we take that. Her next Pokemon will be a Go-Go, which you go for an Iron Head into a Night Slash, as I'm going to knock out the Go-Go as well. This is also through Reflex, by the way. Her next Pokemon will be a Velusa, which I'm able to Night Slash and knock him out. And then her next Pokemon will be her own King Gambit, which I don't want to actually knock out, because as you can see, I checked my item and I made sure I had a berry on my King Gambit, and then I let her King Gambit knock my King Gambit lower in HP, so I recover with the berry and I'm able to Iron Head and knock out her King Gambit. And her final Pokemon will be a Glimmora, which surprisingly so, it does have Earth Power and I'm pretty sure it's gonna knock me out, so I went for a Terra Evolution here to catch it off guard, as I'm able to Terra Evolve and survive an Earth Power from it. So I'm able to go for an Iron Head against him and knock out the Glimmora one shot. And we end up beating Geeta with only one of her Pokemon. So surprisingly enough, we actually became champion with her team. And then from there, we're going to face up against Nemona next. Nemona is going to be a rival and the final fight in the game. It ends up being the easiest fight in the game. All we have to do is avoid the Lycanroc's Stone Edge crit. That's all we have to do. This is the only way we could lose. If the Stone Edge crits me twice in a row, I could survive one, but I can't survive two. As ironically enough, she misses two of her Stone Edges, and I get +6 on my attack and defenses, and knock out the Lycanroc in one shot. Her next Pokemon will be a Gujo with Sap Sipper, which is kind of scary, and also outspeeds me, use Sludge Bomb, but lucky enough, I do have Earthquake as a move on my team, so I'm able to Earthquake, knock out the Gujo, which is nice for me. And then her next Pokemon will be a Palnot. I'm able to Horn Leech into him and get my HP back from him, so it's pretty huge. Her next Pokemon will be a Dewdon-Sparse. I also one-shot it in the face. And then her next Pokemon will be an Earthworm, which is immune to ground moves, which is annoying, so I have to go for Horn Leeches against her, as I'm able to knock her out in 2 shots. And then her final Pokemon will be her starter, which is going to be the Duck, the Quaxo. I'm able to go for a Horn Leech as she Terra Evolves, and she's unable to do any damage against me, and I'm able to knock out the Quaxo and end up beating Nemona. Even though this is technically not the final battle, it actually feels like the final battle because you beat your rival at the end. You know, I feel like it's a decent conclusion. Anyways, that will be the end of my challenge video. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. My name has been Alpha. Hope you all enjoyed the very first video of 2023, and I'll see you guys Saturday for the next Hardcore Nuzlocke. Anyways, my name has been Alpha. Hope you all had a great day, and I'm out. Peace.